Welcome back to the Fanspeak Network. I'm your host, Spread a Stare, going live so we can talk about what we saw yesterday in the NFL and then, of course, look ahead to next week. The projections are up on fanspeak.com. Make sure you check that out. We don't have the plays yet. Tyler and I will talk about that. Tyler will be joining me soon. But rather than just sit here with you guys waiting, I figured I'd jump on live right now. And when Tyler gets on, we'll just start looking ahead to next week. But I'll give some of my general thoughts on what we saw yesterday. So all year long, everyone's been saying, it's not just this show, most shows, Vikings are fraudulent. Vikings aren't as good as their record. You know, Vikings, Darnold. Turns out maybe the Green Bay Packers were the frauds all along and not the Minnesota Vikings. Because that game wasn't as close as the final score. If you didn't watch yesterday and you go, 7-25, close game. Oh, yeah. But really, after the Vikings got the 10-point lead, it was never – the Packers never had the ball with a chance to take the lead. So what's up, Tyler?
What's up, buddy? I'm just going to rock no camera today because I'm at my dad's, and I can't find a good setup, and the sun is blaring through this window.
No worries at all. I just started the show with a quick recap, and my contention is maybe we said all year the Vikings are frauds. Maybe it was the Packers who are frauds all along, who now have failed to beat the Vikings and the Lions twice. What are your thoughts on what you saw yesterday, Tyler?
I mean, those are three of the four best teams in the NFC. So, I mean, maybe two of them are just better than the other one. That's what the records show. So, but in the end, it's like both games against the Vikings, they were looking like they were going to cruise to a victory. And then Green Bay decided that they were going to play in the last few minutes and make it a ball game. Like, it didn't make any sense. Like, if they would have shown some of that effort earlier, they had a very good shot at coming back and winning that game.
But hasn't that been an issue with Jordan Love consistently? He's always been a slow starter.
But it felt like they just didn't want to go away from the run game last night. And it's still the thing on that I'm always going to harp on with Minnesota. Is it Darnold? Is it the fact that they have the best probably head coach, defensive coordinator combo in the league, and they have one of the best wide receiver cores? Like, it's just tough with this team. Like, I can't sit here and say they're.
I mean, I would say, hey, that's fair. If you want to say that Darnold's, really benefiting from good coaching and good teammates, yeah, that's fair. But
that's what I think it's more of.
Minnesota Vikings team, we have to admit they're legit. They can legit.
I want to say yes, but like, let's just go back through the schedule spread. Like, they're good. Don't get me wrong, but they just don't impress me.
I don't understand why. I was pretty impressed with that performance yesterday. So we'll continue to disagree on that. Any other thoughts on what we saw yesterday or for week 17 overall?
The Sunday slate football, quarterback matchup wise was absolutely terrible, but we got some good games out there. Drew Lock put up a good game. The night game ended up being really good. Washington and Atlanta.
Yeah, that was fun, right?
That was a fun game, but I pulled up Minnesota schedule real quick spread. And I know I was one of the guys at the beginning of the year saying that they could lose their first 9 games because they looked rough. But looking back on it, I was wrong on a lot of these teams. Like, they beat the Giants week 1. That was the game we talked about. They lost. Maybe they were going to lose the next couple ones. But then they played San Francisco, not making the playoffs this year. So does that win really hold that much weight? They blew out Houston. Looking back on that, does that really matter?
Houston's a good team.
They beat at Green Bay 31-29.
How was that not?
And that was the game Jordan Love first came back from injury.
Okay.
What, the Houston game?
No. Well, both of them are good wins. I think Houston's a good team.
I don't know about that, but then they beat the Jets. Jets suck.
Yeah.
Lost to Detroit. Lost to the Rams. Beat the Colts, Jacksonville, Tennessee, Chicago, Arizona, Atlanta, Chicago, Seattle, and then Green Bay.
Those last 2 wins are really good.
Everything else in between was dog shit.
But every team's going to be like that.
I mean, I don't know.
That's how the schedule works. You play good teams and you play bad teams.
Yeah, but I don't know. It just smells like a spot where it's like, they win all these games and they flame out in the playoffs. So
can we do that with Baltimore too on who they beat? I mean, they have a good win against Buffalo, and then who else did they beat?
I mean, it's true, but
right. Like, you don't think Houston's very good, so you're not going to give them credit for 31-2, although I will.
I mean, when you watch Houston play at this point, they have nobody. They're all injured. It's just Nico Collins, and CJ Stroud is not the same quarterback.
Yeah. All right. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, I wanted a victory lap. When you watched last night, it was everything that I said. Invest in a young quarterback. Give him a chance. And they had good points. Maybe if they had put Penix earlier and he had more time to develop some chemistry with those receivers, Atlanta could have won that game. Stop wasting time with these quarterbacks that are over 35. It's just a complete waste of time. Kirk Cousins, done. Aaron Rodgers, done. Like, don't give those guys money. You ruin your franchise.
Do you give Darnold $30 million a year?
What's up? He's 27 years old. It's not like.
But no, are you giving him an extended contract or are you franchise tagging him?
I mean, I would extend him, but as long as he comes back.
To say this isn't Geno Smith.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. I can't argue that, but my guess is it's not. I mean, Darnold has way more talent than Geno Smith, like, coming out as an evaluator. And he's in a way better situation, I mean, it's just as long as you win, it doesn't matter that the rest of your team is really good.
I agree, but another thing, like me and the guys, Keg and them, talked about last night, like this defense, for as good as and as much credit as we give it, they don't have stars on the defense. The star is the defensive coordinator. What happens if he leaves?
And he might, but I don't know. After that first head coaching stint, I don't know how, like Spagnuolo never got another shot. It might be the same deal.
I agree. He might not get another shot. So it's one of those things. Minnesota might luck out.
No, you're right.
There's another thing I could bitch about Pittsburgh, Fred. He should have never been let out of this building. But they wanted to stay in-house and keep the defensive coordinator in-house, and they let Flores walk. Flores should be our defensive coordinator right now.
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. All right. Any other thoughts on what we saw last week? I'm scrolling through these games. I mean, Rams beat Cardinals, Seahawks beat Bears. Bengals-Broncos game was fun. Patriots didn't show up. Browns suck. I mean, I don't know. I didn't really have a lot to take away from yesterday.
No, I mean, yesterday wasn't the best. Saturday's games were all right. I mean, the Chargers look with J.K. Dobbins back. They look like they can make some noise in the playoffs. I will say that.
I thought Saturday's game sucked too. Oh wait, no. Saturday. I was thinking Wednesdays. I'm sorry, Wednesday.
Yeah, I mean Wednesday's games were easy though. It was you take the Chiefs against the Steelers, who are doing their playoff mode ready when they're just going to fall into the playoffs, trip over their own feet, and lose in the first round. Yeah. And then Baltimore versus Houston, you were covering one wide receiver.
Right. Yeah. So. All right. You want to look ahead to next week? Or I don't know. I guess we can do tonight.
Yeah, I mean, tonight's kind of weird, but I think I want to be on Detroit. What do you think?
I mean, favorites win 11-3 against the spread so far. Why would that not continue?
Favorites are like 57-12 since like week 13 straight up.
Yeah, it's stupid. Why would I not be on Detroit?
I mean, it's one of those spots too where it's like Detroit kind of had this same spot earlier in the year when they played Dallas. Dallas had a win over them last year that meant a lot. And Detroit caught them at a perfect time in the year. They beat them by like 40. Now they get to play the team that held them out of the Super Bowl and beat them in the NFC Championship game. And San Fran's going to limp into this matchup with half their roster hurt. And Detroit's going to probably pound them into the ground. So I think I'm going to be on Detroit -3. Or 3.5, I'm seeing.
I can lay 3 with extra juice right now, bookmaker. I see Clyde in the chat.
Everyone's worried about sitting guys, too. I don't see why they would sit guys.
They're not going to. They actually should, shouldn't they?
They got to play Minnesota next week, and that game decides the 1 seed. Why would you ever sit?
Even if they lose tonight, it still decides the 1 seed, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're not going to, so I'm not worried about that. Do we make? Oh, it already is an official play.
Yeah,
we already
an official play.
Yeah, we're both on the Lions. Anything else for this game tonight? I'm not touching the total. If anything, I would play the under.
I would
be surprised if 49ers just lay it down.
There was a special on FanDuel. It was Amon-Ra St. Brown to record 15 receiving yards in each quarter, 10-1. I took a shot on that.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
I don't hate doing the good old Detroit parlay here. Like, let's do Gibbs touchdown, St. Brown touchdown, Laporta touchdown, and Detroit minus 3.5. And that pays out at about 13-1. Yeah. If you wanted to add Jamison Williams, you could also add him. Like, they've had games where all these guys score and they blow teams out. So,
yeah.
If you add in Jamison Williams, it takes it to 51-1.
Well, yeah, I mean, but yeah, that's a lot. That's every skill player scoring a touchdown.
They did it. They did it a few times this year. Spread. I think they did it against Jacksonville. They did it against Dallas.
I would just take out. I would take out one of them. I don't think they're all getting in there.
Yeah, but I do like Amon-Ra's 72.5 on his receiving yards. I think that's a little low.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. All right. So we got the -3 in there. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to, let's see. This will be next Saturday, right?
Yep, next Saturday.
Cleveland Browns are plus 18 against the Ravens. Do we care? Can we just move on?
I don't know how you would bet this game. Like, is Baltimore even going to play their guys?
Yeah, forget this game. The Cincinnati, great job, odds makers. At least it's accurate. Like, put up a line to where I don't just take every favorite, right?
Oh, and then they put it to the point where it's like it's a DTR on the other side. I don't feel comfortable with 17.5. I don't feel comfortable with 20.5 with DTR.
Yeah, I mean, if the Ravens can win by 29 against Houston, who's 10 times better than Cleveland.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, so I mean, like, I guess if you have to pick it, I'll lay 18. But
yeah, if I'm betting this, I'm laying 18. I am not.
I'm not betting that fucking game. Excuse my language. The Cincinnati Bengals are -2 in Pittsburgh, taking on the Steelers. So totals 47.5. You are all dialed in on the Steelers. You predicted their demise against the Chiefs last week. How do you think they fare against the Bengals? I think they lose.
I mean, I predicted their demise for the last few weeks because it's almost like we've done this for 6 years in a row. So, give me Cincinnati. Like, this team is just reeling. They can't do anything. Their offense stinks. Even with George Pickens back, they can't block for Russ. Russ, another guy. You talk about these old quarterbacks. I think it's time to go back to Fields. So, I mean, they're not going to do it. They're probably going to lose this game, and Cincinnati might sneak into the playoffs. And I don't know about the other AFC teams, but I would want Denver in there instead of Cincinnati because Cincinnati could beat anyone in the AFC at any night.
So. Yeah, I'm much more afraid of Cincinnati than Denver. Denver seems pretty easy to beat.
Denver's you could beat Denver. I want to deal with Cincinnati in the playoffs.
Clyde, why would you think we're going to stop working together?
It's a dynamic duo.
Yeah. We might moan and complain after bad weeks, Clyde, but we'll never really quit. All right. So we're both on Cincinnati for Saturday. Nothing in the first game.
Yeah, nothing in the first game.
All right, so a lot of these games, it's going to be a quick show. Okay, let's be honest. Before I did content, I almost used to always just take this week off.
The things you're going to bet this week are the incentive-based props. Like, there's not going to be a lot of sides you get on. There's not going to be a lot of totals. Like, you're going to want to pay attention to Twitter, find out how close these guys are to incentives, find that chart, and go off of that and just bet the player props. Like Mike Evans to get 1,000. Like, figure out how many yards he needs and bet his alt yards there. That's going to be the props this week.
Clyde said he's going to try and break us up and steal you.
I don't know about that.
All right. Okay. So let's
be. I'm just being like sent around like goods or something.
Maybe we'll have plays later this week as we get more news. But right now, like, honestly, the only game I really have interest in is that Detroit, Minnesota.
Yeah, and that's the last game of
because that's like a real
slate.
game still. Yeah. Okay. Saints plus 14.5 against Tampa. Don't care. No interest.
No, just give me
lay
Mike
it or
Evans
don't
props.
play it, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Or just lay the 14.5. I mean, New Orleans just lost to the Raiders by 15.
I'm pulling up playoff picture now, but I think we're pretty much locked in outside of Cincinnati. This weird 7 seed in the AFC, I think, is the only thing held up. Let's load. Come on, NFL.com.
Okay, so right now,
yeah, on both sides, 6 of the 7 spots are clinched, and the only spot open is for the Broncos.
wow,
if they lose,
I did not know Miami was still alive.
Miami has to lose also for Cincinnati to get in.
And who do they play?
Miami plays
the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets. But Tua might not play again.
It's Miami in New York.
Tua might not play.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they lost that game. Okay. Okay,
and
so
then
a
on
lot
the
of these we're gonna skip. So wait,
on the NFC side, the only game that's the only spot that's still
the
open
Buccaneers
is
clinched the division, right?
No, it says that they're not clinched yet. Unless this hasn't updated, it says that they're not clinched yet. If they're clinched, then the NFC is done.
Yeah, I don't see them clinched. What are you on? I'm on CBS.
I'm on NFL.com. It says playoff probability Buccaneers at the 4 seed, 81%. And then the Falcons are sitting at 9 at 8.
Yeah, the Falcons can still win that division.
So
the Falcons
comes down to
win and the
tiebreaker.
Buccaneers lost because the Falcons beat the Buccaneers twice this year.
Okay, so that's what's still hung up on the NFC side.
Yeah, so let's see where. All right, so Buccaneers do have to win. That's why the 14.5 is there. Lay it. Okay. Bills Patriots, we don't care, right?
Give me Josh Allen first touchdown, and I only want first touchdown because he probably gets pulled after the first or second drive. He's
when I was putting the projections in, I thought you made a mistake when it was only minus 2.5, and then I realized
he's only one rushing touchdown away from breaking the Bills record. I think they're going to punch him in the end zone and then pull him off the field.
Okay, fair enough. I like that. Josh Allen first touchdown. Bears plus 9 against the Packers. I don't know. What do you think?
Probably just a stay away. I don't like the Bears, and it feels
the
like
Packers have nothing to play for, right? Can they move up to 6 if they win?
If they won and Washington lost, they can move up to 6.
Okay. And that would get them the Rams instead of the Eagles.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, at least they have something to play for. I don't know. 9 seems like a lot of points, though.
I don't want to let
Bears might have given up.
Bears might have given up, but like they play decent in spots, and this smells like one of them spots where like they could play decent. So
yeah, I mean, and they don't need a quarterback, so it's not like losing the game's that big a deal to them.
No.
Right. I mean, remember me 2 weeks ago, and then that was the Giants fans last week.
And you got to think Eberflus is out. Or no, Eberflus is already gone. What's the other guy's name?
Gone.
Thomas Brown. Thomas Brown's probably out at the end of the year. So it doesn't matter to him.
Yeah.
He's going to play to win. So, I mean, if I had the better, I'd probably just take the 9.5.
Okay, fair enough. All right. But I'm fine staying off that game. Yeah, it's going to be a quick show today, guys. Like I said, most guys that do this like we do take the last week of the season pretty much off. So sorry to be kind of a downer here, but that's the reality of the NFL.
You don't want to push them in the wrong direction either.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about what we think. Like Dolphins, Jets, I would take the Jets plus points.
You got to see. I mean, Tyrell would be the quarterback that would play.
No, Snoop would be the quarterback.
For the Jets?
Oh, Rodgers isn't playing?
He kind of when they went up 30-0 in that game, that wasn't a coach's decision for Tyrell to come in. He kind of walked over and was like, "Yeah, we're down 30-0. Tyrell, go in. I'm done." So I don't know how to take that. Like if he's going to play next week, if he's just done with the Jets as a whole organization.
I don't understand how you've done that, Clyde. Do you not only listen on the certain shows? Unbelievable. All right. Yeah, I would take the Jets plus points there. And is it at this point, is it even that much of a drop off?
It's not. I mean, probably one.
If they're going to beat Miami, they're going to beat them up. They're going to run the ball, and they're going to be good on defense.
Yeah. So, I mean, if Tyrod's in, I don't hate betting the Jets because I think it could be one of those spots where the Jets offense kind of looks at Rodgers and goes, we wanted you gone anyway. Like, let's play hard for Tyrod. But another way to look at this, if Rodgers does play, just bet Devontae Adams touchdown if he plays also because he has 499 career passing touchdowns right now. Devontae caught number 200. Devontae caught number 300. Why wouldn't he try and get him number 500?
Right. Yeah, I agree there. All right, Broncos. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going out of order because they switched the games, but sorry.
Yeah, they got them all mixed up right now.
Broncos minus 9.5 against the Chiefs. I would take the Chiefs.
I mean, here's my thing about this Chiefs game. Are they sitting there, guys?
Yes, that's why it's 9.5.
So you're telling me that none of their guys are going to play from Christmas until what, the second week of January?
Well, I just think they're sitting Mahomes. I don't know if they're sitting everyone else.
I feel like those guys are going to play at least a drive, a quarter, something. That's a long time off from football. Unless they have this in their head, which I could see them being this smart also, the AFC seeding isn't really going to move. So they're probably playing Pittsburgh or Houston in the divisional round. They just handled Pittsburgh on Christmas, and they handled Houston the Saturday before. They might sit these guys.
Yeah, this line says they're sitting them.
You beat the teams you're probably playing in the divisional round. They might sit these guys for a month, and then they come back in the divisional round. So I'm probably just staying away from this one.
From what I've heard, Andy Reid's old school. He runs one of the toughest practices. It's a real physical practice. I don't think they'll be hurt from a layoff like Los Angeles Rams or Philadelphia Eagles would.
No, I don't think they'd be hurt from a layoff either. But like that's just one of them things where you could look back on it and go, "You mean to tell me C.J. Stroud went into Arrowhead and stole a win?" And it's like, yeah. Well, Mahomes had a rough game because he sat for a month and he couldn't get back into rhythm.
Yeah, I think the Texans are a good team, dude. I mean, I know they look like crap on
I think
Wednesday,
their defense.
But first of all, that whole playing football on Wednesday is stupid.
Their offense.
So you can't even take as much from those games.
Their offense is pretty beat up. Like Nico Collins is kind of by himself. Joe Mixon's kind of like now it's literally just Joe Mixon and Nico Collins. Like Tank Dell's not there. Dalton Schultz isn't going to blow the top off the defense. The thing that they're hoping for is Deontay Johnson can slide in as wide receiver too and play well, which I hope they list props for him in the wild card round against the Steelers.
Clyde, we might be delusional, but at least we know how to spell it. The Los Angeles Chargers are -6 against the Raiders. Total's 41.5. I would take the Chargers here.
I'd take you guys.
Really? How come?
The Chargers can't move. If they would need to win, and I believe the Steelers would need to lose for them to jump up a spot.
Yeah.
And
the Steelers are going to lose. We'll already have known that going into the game.
Yeah, but if they both win, they don't move. They already told Antonio Pierce he's gone. He's won the last 2 games in a row despite them. You don't think he's going to try again?
Well, I think he was trying the whole season. I think he just sucks.
Also, like just to talk about draft position right now, I looked on Tankathon. I know you want your quarterback now, but like if you guys drafted the wide receiver out of Arizona at 8 and then let O'Connell play another year, similar to how Houston did with Davis Mills before CJ Stroud. Like, yeah, you guys.
That's what we have to do now.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you guys probably could be good next year, but like when you do draft the quarterback, he's going to step into Brock Bowers, McMillan, and they rebuild the offensive line. Like that's what you want.
Yeah, I mean that has to be a strategy. Now it just sucks for me because if we would have had the 1 or 2 pick, at least I'd be excited. Oh, I can't wait to see this new quarterback, right? But
I
now I don't
mean,
want to because if we were to get Sanders or Ward, that means that we don't have any picks. So even if they ball out, football's a team game. We've seen players look really like look at Stroud. He looks great when he had all 3 receivers, right? Now
yeah,
he's losing some offensive linemen. He's losing some, and I still think he's a good player. So you need a good team around him. The Raiders can't afford to give up picks, in my mind. They have to restock and they have
that's
to hit
what
those
worries
draft
me
picks.
is
So
Brady kind of forces their hand to go get Shador.
yeah, well, yeah, it worries me too. But he might also just know, like, hey, this team is more than one player away.
Look at what's lining up for your team spread. Tom Brady's up in your upper management. He's going to have a very good say in who's the quarterback for the Raiders next. And look who just so happens to be holding the first pick right now. His old buddy, Robert Kraft. You telling me that phone call ain't
I
going to
think
go
they hate
down?
each other.
No, it's Belichick's the one that hated him. Him and Kraft are
Oh.
buddies. So, yeah, I could see you guys trading up the one to still get Shador.
Yeah, it could happen. I mean, but it'll be heartbreaking to me if we give up like 2 first-round picks.
Mm-hmm.
And then even if Shador's good, like, how do you get him help?
After watching him play in that bowl game, too, I mean, he didn't look like, I know his offensive line's terrible, but he didn't look all that good. And Cam Ward, it's like when you watch him play, he makes it look so easy.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like that's not going to work at the next level. So can you show me some
I mean, if you're
mechanics
just
and
going
some.
off like athleticism and physical talent, Cam Ward's there. If you're going off like actual training and I don't know, I think Sanders is much more polished.
Yeah. I wouldn't hate for your Raiders to draft McMillan in the first round and second round, maybe come back and get like Ewers or somebody. I know you don't think he's going to be all that good, but if you burn a second, he ends up.
Terrible. Well, I don't think Ewers is going into Ewers isn't in the draft. He's going to Michigan
Not
State.
necessarily, but if he does turn up in the draft, like draft him in
I
the
would not
second.
want Quinn Ewers. He's AOC's better than Quinn Ewers. Like, come on.
I don't know about that.
Quinn Ewers.
Everyone was out on JJ McCarthy, and as we got closer to the draft, a lot of people started to look and go, "Oh, maybe this guy's gonna be good."
Yeah, and maybe he will. Okay. Well, yeah. So you take the +6, huh?
Yep, I'd take the +6 with the Raiders.
What if the Steelers actually won? And then it doesn't matter for the Chargers.
Well, I'm taking the money line too.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they've traditionally done well against the Chargers too.
Yeah, and they're gonna like Pierce is gonna coach this as his last game, so he's gonna try.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think he's been trying all year. I don't think that's anything different.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's very good. I don't think the team's very good. And he brought in the wrong coordinators. Even look how much better they are with Norv Turner's son running things.
Yeah, very true.
I mean,
very true.
That whole Getsy thing was stupid. We brought him in to appease Devontae, and then we trade Devontae week 5. I mean, just unbelievable. All right. Jaguars, Colts, don't care. Do you? It's +5. Don't care.
Nah, I don't care.
Nothing. Okay.
Don't the Jags always beat the Colts? But they're another. Yeah, if the Jags always beat the Colts.
Always beat the Colts. Yeah, we can take
points.
+5 if we do anything.
Yeah,
okay.
give me the points.
All right. Panthers +8 against the Falcons. I took the points with the Panthers last week, Tyler. That didn't go very well for me.
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of like I'll give you the asterisk on that loss because you didn't know Chuba Hubbard was going to be out and done for the season, so you thought Carolina was going to have a run.
And that screwed my little fantasy pug team, dude. If he would have played, I could have actually got first place.
That sucks.
Yeah.
But I mean, as for this game, like Atlanta's got something to play for. They have to win this game if they want to try and get that Tampa Bay spot. They both play,
dude, in the dome.
I'd lay the 8. I mean, Michael Penix probably shreds this defense.
Yeah, and even because he's so young.
And look, another week where we get a running back that's just going to shred Carolina's defense. We've had 5 weeks in a row of guys go over 100. From guys from Rico Dowdle to Bucky Irving to Saquon Barkley. What do we think Bijan's going to do?
Yeah, I love that. Clyde's pissing me off today. Clyde, I had a crappy Christmas, okay? I don't need to hear your chirping in the chat.
We got to ban him. We got to give him a timeout. We could put user in timeout.
I'm not going to put him on timeout. I'll take it, but what a jerk. All right, the Washington Commanders are -3.
I mean, look at his name. He's a jabroni.
Yeah, that's true. He's -3. Washington Commanders -3 in Dallas, 44.5. We just looked at this earlier. Do the Commanders have something to play for?
No, they can't. They can't move up, but they could move down with a loss and a Green Bay win.
Okay, so they do have something to play for. Okay, great.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they do.
Why would you not take Washington here?
Yeah, you lay it with Washington, like Dallas.
I took Dallas too. That was a freaking L.
They couldn't even keep up with Kenny Pickett.
Bro. That's an example of a team game, right?
Yeah, you can't keep up with Kenny Pickett. It's game over.
If you have a good squad, you can even make Kenny Pickett look good.
Yeah, I just think the other team they were playing was just done already. So
I don't think they were. They were fighting. They had won like 4 games in a row. They had moved to 7 and 8.
But before that game, they had shut down CD Lamb, so that changes the entire offense. Like,
I guess
that kind of told you the season was over. Like, I think if you went into the Cowboys locker room right now and said, "Hey, you guys want to forfeit this week and leave a week early?" I bet you'd get a high enough vote that says let's leave.
I don't think they would. All right, but we both agree we're on the Commanders. Seahawks Rams. Now has no significance. The Rams have clinched. The Seahawks are eliminated. Your thoughts?
Seahawks. The Rams are going to sit everyone. McVay does not play around in these spots of like, oh, I'm going to actually run my guys out there and play them. No, you're going to see the backup quarterback. You're going to see Blake Corum, and Puka Nacua won't run a route on Sunday. So give me Seattle.
Okay. You're on Seattle. All right. Houston Texans are +3 against the Tennessee Titans.
Meaningless game, right?
Yeah, I don't care.
Absolutely meaningless game. Houston can't.
I mean, the line says that Houston's not playing anybody.
Yeah, Houston can't move in their. They own their division title already. They can't move in the standings.
Yeah. Okay. I don't want to bet that game, do you?
I mean, no.
No. Okay.
Slight lean to Houston because Davis Mills isn't the worst backup. He might be the best quarterback on the field. Him, Mason Rudolph, and Will Levis. I might take Davis Mills.
He is. I would too. Yeah, you're right about that. Yeah.
So it's like you're getting +3 with the better quarterback. And they already said that the other two are both going to play this week. So I might just take Houston.
All right. Well, let me know when you do. Of course, we'll have those picks up on fanspeak.com. Give Tyler and I a little more time to disseminate this information. This is a tough week to bet the National Football League.
We'll probably have the bets up later in the week, closer to Thursday or Friday.
Because we don't know who's playing.
You got to wait for the news and see which teams are going to sit guys and all that. Like, if we miss a line movement, so be it. Like, I don't want to push plays that.
Yeah, it's like the only reason you bet now is if you knew people inside the organization that are giving you information.
Yeah, if you had the insider knowledge that said that this is going to happen.
Yeah, but we don't have that. Okay. The New York Giants are +3.5. They're in Philadelphia. They're taking on the Eagles. Another one, like, I don't care. I don't think Philadelphia's going to play anybody.
Why wouldn't we take the Giants +3 after what we just watched last week?
I don't know, because Carolina and Dallas were both on a roll, and they just dead it out because they're crappy teams.
I mean, Philly's probably sitting everyone. Hurts probably isn't playing off the concussion that he was already dealing with. They can't move up or move down, so...
But, dude, their backups might be good enough. We just saw the third stringer go in there and dice up Dallas.
The third stringer was still throwing to A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. Like, you pull them off the field, like, that depth chart of wide receivers, it is a huge drop-off from those two.
Yeah.
They said Adam Schefter came out and said he'd be floored if Saquon played in this game also. So I don't see Saquon playing. If I'm betting this game, I'm taking Drew Lock and the Giants.
Okay. Well, we'll see what happens there. I don't want to bet that game. All right, Tyler, I don't have a line for the Lions and the Vikings. Do you?
Lions, Vikings. Lions are -2.5 with a total of 52.5.
Let me
That
guess. You want
2.5
Detroit
is
because
minus
Minnesota's a
120.
fraud. You want Detroit because Minnesota's a fraud, right?
Yeah, I mean, they were going to beat them. The time is now. Like Detroit's defense being all injury bug bitten. This isn't the same matchup that they had earlier in the year when they played Detroit.
I like Minnesota.
I'm going to wait and decide on this. I got to see what Detroit looks like tonight. And then I'll decide. Because I don't want to say I'm on Detroit. We lose a guy in this game tonight, and it's like, God.
Oh yeah, well, I can't even bet it right now. It's not bookmakers not even listing a line for it. Yeah. All right. So is there anything that we need to bet like right now? Because nothing's standing out to me that I love.
No, I don't think we have
to bet. If I had to do a favorite bet, bro, I'd take Cincinnati. Of everything Washington. We've talked about. Okay. You like Washington, I like Cincinnati. Fair enough. I kind of like both those. Should we bet those now or no?
I don't think we have to.
I think Washington will definitely take money. I think the whole Tomlin is a dog narrative will keep that Cincinnati line fairly stable. Right?
I mean, yeah, probably, but I think people are starting to get the sour taste in their mouth from them.
Yeah. All right. Well, maybe we missed the line. Do we bet Washington right now? Because I have -3, and I think that'll be 3.5 by the time we talk again.
Yeah, maybe we should take them and just get it at the key number of 3.
All right, I'll do that right now. All right, that's our play for the week then. All right, Tyler. Hey, Clyde in the chat. I see you talking about the South Carolina QB. Send me some highlights of him.
Sellers.
Are you talking about Jackson Dart? Who's
no Sellers?
QB? Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, cool. We bet the Commanders -3. Final thoughts.
Before we end, spread our final thoughts. Give me your Super Bowl matchup. I know we'll do another playoff show. We might change here,
Philadelphia.
Going Kansas City, Philadelphia. Let's see.
Who's
you're on the rematch. Let's see what that would pay out right now as exact matchups. Kansas City, Philadelphia, 10-1.
I love it.
Don't hate that call. I am going to stick with the same NFC team, but I'm going to go with the other birds in the AFC. Give me Ravens, Eagles, 17-1.
That's crazy. If I don't take Kansas City, I want Buffalo.
Everyone's jumping to Buffalo, but I think Buffalo's defense has more weaknesses than Baltimore's at this point.
I know, but I just think that Josh Allen's been so much better in the playoffs.
Tripping over my words on this sentence, but that's another argument a lot of people go to. Lamar's never had Derrick Henry standing next to him in the playoffs.
Fair enough.
Now let's see if they're just going to run the ball in the play. If they're just going to run, it's going to be tough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Run RPO every play. Eventually one of those two is going through a hole into the end zone.
Yeah. So, all right, guys. I haven't been doing NBA shows, but I like the Mavericks tonight. I think I'm going to bet that right now.
I seen the fight in the NBA last night. I see we're getting some action there.
Wait, what happened?
Tyler Hero was dropping buckets on Amen Thompson and just dominating him, and then Amen Thompson slammed him on the floor.
Really? I didn't see that.
Yeah, he wasn't having it.
All right. Okay, great. So, guys, next week we'll be back to normal. We'll do just a reaction kind of early playoff thoughts. But then we're going to come back on Tuesday with Jamie. And I'll see about the times. We might be going a little earlier, but
okay.
Jamie should be back next week. So
sounds like the plan, spread.
All right, Tyler. Give me some. What's up, Tim? I'm glad to see you. Boy, Tim, I appreciate some positivity in the chat.
Yeah, where's our guy, Tim?
Mr. Dark Rain Cloud Clyde all up in the chat. So I appreciate Tim coming in here, bringing the positive vibes, bringing the positive mojo, and just really bringing that positive winning attitude. Thank you, Tim. All right, Tyler, final thoughts, and then I'm going to hit the
final thoughts. I mean, we just got to give a shout out to our guy, Tim, in the chat for bringing the good energy at the end. I mean,
it was
we could send him a shirt, then we would, but I don't think we have an extra one laying around, do we, Spread?
Well, we're going to have to talk to Meg about that. So,
yeah, we got to get our guy Tim hooked up. We're going to send Clyde a nice bag of dog shit.
Yeah.